Come on, Wes, you gotta do this. What's going on, everyone? It's your boy Wes, back at you with another video about Streets of Rage 4. Basically this video is about me telling you guys, or rather me expressing my feelings on what I think about the patch notes that I saw on Reddit that was given to everybody from the beta test of Streets of Rage 4. There's about, I think overall from what I saw, is about a list of 14 changes in the game. I'm gonna go over as many as I can and explain to you why I think some of them are good and then why I think some of them are bad. And then while I'm explaining these things, I'm going to be showing you little clips on why I feel that those are necessary changes to the game. Some of these clips I got the sources from, shoutouts to I think it's Stone Edge Game, shoutouts to you guys. You can follow them, it's going to be in the description below, or it's going to be above my head wherever I put it. And also one of the beta tests, his name is Tetsuo. So check those guys out for more details on things like tips for the game, and also further things like the like I said, Tetsuo, he beta test, so you can check him out as well to see what updates he has on his beta testing process. Now let's just get started in regards to my thoughts. Bear with me, everyone. So now let me go to my notes. Let's talk about Adam. Adam now, he has a defense special upgrade. The defense special upgrade, or rather buff, is knock OTG. That's a good thing, because before he wasn't able to do it, and now it opens up more combo strings. Because before, and on top of that, they nerfed his ability to do his infinite, his loop, or whatever you want to call it. So that's a good thing, that's a plus. That's a good thing that they got rid of one thing, but then they added something else to kind of make the character a little more balanced and fix the ecosystem of the game. Let's talk about Bernie. Bernie, supposedly, his taser now has more startup. That's a good thing. But what they did was they took his health. I don't know why would they take away his health. Like, you get rid of the man's ability to tase you from far distance, or rather have fast startup on his taser, but then you get rid of his health. I think they should have just left his they should have obviously fixed the startup on his taser, but then on top of that, but then keep his life the same, because his taser is what made him who he is. So like, get rid of his life makes him even worse, along with contributing to his lack of him having like a fast startup on his taser. So I don't agree with that. And it's not that hard to get around his taser, especially now that it's that the animation is slowed down, or rather his startup frames have been decreased, or rather increased. What is it? Okay, now Commissioner, his overhead punch and God press at level 7 no longer have armor, making the SL2 fight more feasible. What was so hard about it? You gotta understand, right? Taking armor from bosses don't make them bosses anymore. I know they're like, he's like mini bosses. He's like a mini boss to complement the main boss. But it's like he has patterns, number one. Number two, from what I remember, or rather I know, stage 7 isn't a long stage. It's a fairly short stage. I think it's the shortest stage in the game. So you basically, and also mind you, Bernie is in that stage. So not only you nerf Bernie, but then on top of that, you make the commissioner in that stage worse. I don't get it. I don't agree with that nerf. Now let's go to some gravity has been added to the knockdowns, making Adam's boost loop harder. That's good. You gotta earn the goodness now. You gotta earn it, which is fine. I agree with that. Floyd's 3-hit jab infinite is gone. 2-piece still exists. His gotcha grab loop still seems to be good. That's a good call. I agree with that. That's cool. Now let's talk about Deva. Deva electric floor attack doesn't seem to stay active as long. Why? Deva, it wasn't even that hard of a boss. And then from also what I heard is that Deva's kicks, you can kind of disrupt it now. Like I said before, they got rid of a lot of, I don't know if it's a universal thing, but from what I'm hearing is that they got rid of a lot of super armor on bosses. I don't agree with that. What makes a boss is a bit of super armor on some of their moves. You can't just run and gun or just go crazy and just start punching these bosses or kicking them and expecting them to like not be able to tank it and hit you back. There has to be some type of strategy in your approach. So I think they shouldn't have got rid of. On top of that, they got rid of the armor on enemies, and then on people like Deva, they made her kicks have more startup, and then they made the electricity on the floor not last that long. Like, what does she have now? She got to rely on her minions? Come on, man. Like, there's ways to get past Deva. Anyway, Cherry's, let's talk about Cherry. Cherry's offensive special starts up much faster. Okay, that's cool. You give her that. I mean, she's a fast character, so a lot of her she shouldn't have startup frames on her moves. She should be able to attack fast when it comes to doing combos and stuff like that. Now, she has what? Fourth part of Cherry's auto combo can be jump cancel now. That's cool too. Another thing I'm hearing is that Cherry, her damage output has increased.
Basically just making the game a little bit more fair.
When you make a character that fast, you should not be making their damage output that crazy. Like, she shouldn't be able to lay that much damage on enemies if she's able to combo them. That's crazy. Now, here's something that kind of grinds my gears a little bit. Here's another buff to the game. Alright, I guess buff or nerf to the, I guess you want to call it buff or nerf to the difficulty of the game. Rather, yeah, so I call it a nerf to the difficulty of the game, but buff for the players in the game. What they did was they added a turkey. Turkey has been added to stage 9 in front of the fat guys near a mob. You don't need that near there. You don't need it near there. For what? You got apples, and the thing is, it makes the game harder. It makes the game harder. Like, once you get to stage 9, like a lot of people talk about stage 9. Like stage 9, or what is it? I think it's the Y Tower. Everybody has horror stories of the Y Tower. Like, that's, to me, that's very important in Streets of Rage. Like, there's always that one stage that makes everybody talk about, like, yo man, that stage is hard. You heard? Yeah man, yo, did you beat that stage? Yeah. And people also try to speed run it. They try to do little things. So by you adding things like what is it? Adding turkeys to the stage, and then on top of that you got something I'm gonna mention a little bit later. Nerfs to enemies. How hard is that stage now? You taking the hardness of the stage and the challenge of beating that stage, or the gratification of beating that stage. It's gonna be like, whatever, I beat Y Tower now. It's nothing now. Another thing they added to Y Tower, now there's 2 apples next to the red Goros now. 2 apples instead of 1. You don't need that, because the reason why you don't need that is like those apples next to the Goros is like something to just, you know, get your life up so you can fight them. and try your best to beat them with all of the tactics that you learn throughout the game. And they're not 100%. Of course they're hard. That's just part of Streets of Rage. It's a challenge. It's a challenge. So you just learn, like, there's ways around these characters. Like I said, go to Stone Edge gameplay, and you'll see some of the tips that they give you to beat these enemies, and you'll understand that some of these enemies aren't as hard as you think, and some of these difficulty nerfs that they put in the game are very unnecessary. So I don't think it's a good call for them to add extra turkey into the stages like White Tower, because also after you beat those guys, and me and my boys call the guys with the knees, head and shoulders, knees and toes. Once you beat those heads and shoulders, knees and toes guys, and the Goros, you fight the mafia dudes with the guns. And those guys, actually before those guys, I think you get fruits. You get I think an apple or a turkey before them. I think it's an apple. But then after you beat them, and they're real easy to beat, you get a turkey, you get some money, and then you get a star. So it's like, why? Like it's like they're giving you too many buffs, and they give you too many item buffs in this game, especially on that stage. Now let's go to another thing. Big Ben's armor on his flamethrower has been removed. Come on, man. Why are you getting rid of his armor on his flamethrower? Like, think about it. What does Big Ben have? Big Ben with the flamethrower, he doesn't have anything. All he has is two things: his flamethrower and then his roll to get out of there. I kind of like that upgrade, because to be honest with you, he wasn't hard in Streets of Rage 2 and 3. The only difference in 3 was that you couldn't slam them. Sorry, he was hard in Streets of Rage 1 because you couldn't slam him, and he had armor on his flamethrower. And Streets of Rage 3, mainly because you couldn't toss them. With some characters, you couldn't grab them from behind and body slam them because they were so fat and they would take damage. But other than that, they're slow. Big Ben doesn't jump. The flamethrower Big Ben doesn't jump. So it's like you can see it coming. So what else does he have? And he's slow. And then all you have to do is, when he flamethrowers one way, you go down, and then you go behind him, and you can hit him. So I understand, you know, fighting a bunch of Big Bens or Big Bens mixed with other people makes it hard, yes, but that's the whole dynamics of Streets of Rage. You gotta learn when to attack, when to be aggressive, when to throw somebody into the next person, when to use your iframes to avoid certain things. What I mean by iframes is basically invincibility frames, to when you can't be hit by an enemy. So that's actually in the game, where if you jump at the right moment, your iframes will be activated and enemies cannot hit you. So that's another thing you got to check out in Stone Edge Gaming or Gameplays YouTube channel. They have things like that to teach you guys at home.
The neutral vertical jump. During the height of this jump, there are a couple of frames there where you can avoid taking any damage at all, but your timing has to be perfect.
So now, moving on from Big Ben, even though rest in peace Big Ben. Moving on from him, Max AI has been adjusted. Apparently you now can special out of his grab. I don't agree with that. The reason why I don't agree with that is that you could already mash out of his grab. You could already mash out his grab and get out of it. Then, I hope the adjustment they made to his AI is he's a little bit more smarter and he changes things up. Because he only has a few things going for him. He jump kicks you, and you can see him jump kick. You can see when he's about to jump kick. And then when he lands, you can hit him. Even before he jump kicks, you can hit him before he jump kicks. Because it's not like when he's about to jump kick, you hit him, he stops. You interrupt the action. Yo, you hit him, and he like tanks everything. You hit him, and he just jumps to the next side. You can hit him there, and then chase him to the other side, depending on how fast your character is. Then he does like a lariat, where he spins, and then he does one spin, and then sometimes he does 3 spins. But either way, as soon as he's done, you can hit him. And then he does 2 other things. He does a charge up. You can hit him out of that. Not hit him out of it, so you can hit him while he's doing that, and then just leave, obviously, because after he does that, he's gonna do one of his attacks. And then he does a charge. He does a ram. I think he does 1 shoulder ram sometimes, and then sometimes he does 3. It's easy to beat him. So if anything, he probably needs a buff. They shouldn't have gave that nerf to him. Like I said, I'm hoping that the AI is smarter when you fight Max. Moving on from Max. Rest in peace, Max. Now, Garnets. I call them the Grasshopper Girls. Jump kick, and the jump kick from the Garnets And let's just call them the flying, the jumping, the flying, the body slamming Big Bens. Those guys, they got nerfed too. I forgot exactly what were the nerfs, but basically they got nerfed. In regards to the Garnets, that's a tough spot. That's a tough spot. The reason why I say that is because, like I said earlier, there's iframes you could use against them. So you're able to actually use those iframes to avoid the hitboxes of their attacks. So, but the thing is, it can be annoying because they jump pretty fast. They jump pretty fast right after. It's like these girls are playing basketball or something, whatnot. I don't know what they were doing between Streets of Rage 3 and now, but they definitely got an upgrade. It's ridiculous. I guess I'm like in the middle. I mean, I could deal with that nerf for them. Like, hopefully it's not a significant nerf where they maybe slowed it down a little bit, but still allow them to jump maybe diagonal or jump in a jump. When they jump, they could jump from the, I guess, jump up into the y-axis where they at, from where they at. So I hope they leave that, but probably slow down the startup of their moves or the cooldown of their moves. Now, in regards to the flying Big Ben, I feel that they probably should leave him alone because you can definitely avoid his stuff. You can definitely avoid his attacks. Like, what I mean by that is all you have to do is bait him to jump and then go parallel to him and then meet him halfway, and then you could grab him or do whatever the case may be. Literally, that's all he has. He doesn't really have much else going on for him. The thing about me and nerfing characters is, like, if they become really a problem to where it's unfair, then okay. But if enemies only have one thing going for them and then you get rid of that one thing, what is left to be feared of that enemy? There's really nothing left. So I feel that they should just leave that character alone. They should definitely leave him alone. And another thing I want people to understand, Mania and this Streets of Rage 4 is nowhere near Streets of Rage 2 Mania. Streets of Rage 2 Mania, everybody had like stars next to their life. What I mean by stars is that they had, in stars, it basically meant that these enemies had extra life bar. So some regular Joe Schmo enemies had like 2-3 stars. In this game, no, they don't really have that. They have like just longer bars and stuff like that. It would be ill if they added that into the Mania when they, I guess, when they put DLC and add some type of updates to the game. That'd be cool if they could have some type of Streets of Rage 2 Mania mode. That'd be sick. Implemented to this current Streets of Rage. That'd be dope. But moving on to those guys, I guess it's a semi rest in peace for them for now, until further notice. Mind you, all these patch notes aren't finalized, but a bunch of them are confirmed. I'm not sure which ones. I'm not part of the beta testing team. I wish I was. Hint, hint. But hopefully beta testers, they listen to this video and take in consideration some of my concerns. One cool thing I think is kind of universal. You can now use specials while getting hit. With this add, that's cool. That's dope. I'm glad that they did that. But my whole thing about giving buffs to the protagonists in the game is everybody should have some type of added bonus to them. If you're gonna buff a protagonist in a game that's not ridiculously hard, that everybody, from what I gather, has beaten the game to some capacity, to some level, then why are you nerfing enemies like that? Why are you nerfing enemies? The enemies have been nerfed. So why? So now, on top of enemies being nerfed, you're giving the protagonist stuff like them being able to use a special while getting hit. Huh? I don't know about that. That's kind of dicey. Now, talking about this guy.
Dylon, and Dylon.
Dylon. Anyway, Dylon armor on his headbutt has been removed. I don't understand why would you guys do that. It's simple. The man, how does he fight you? You guys know how he fights you. He fights you with his hands in his pocket. He doesn't do much to you. And the Dylon I'm talking about is just not the Dylon that jump kicks. Though I guess you want to call those guys Dylon, but they're not Dylon. They probably call something else from what I remember. But the Dylon that I know is he keeps his hands in his pockets and just headbutts you. That's it. And then when he gets up, he headbutts you again and has super armor. I think that was cool what they did. Since the character doesn't have much going for him, that's a good staple thing for him to have. Now you get rid of it. He becomes just a punching bag now. As soon as he gets up, you clap him. Not only you could combo, you could evade his headbutt while he's standing. You can evade it now when he gets up, and then when he's, mind you, the protagonist of the game, they can OTG now. So you can hit him while he's on the ground, hit him while he's standing. You can hit him while he's on the ground, and then you can hit him before he gets off the ground. Or rather, when he gets up and does his special move, what does he have? He's a punching bag. Come on now. Can't be doing that to these characters. Anyway, enough. Rest in peace, Dylon. See you at the crossroads, man. Moving on. Floyd specials lose more health even on normal. That's fine. I like that. That's not a bad thing to give to him. You know, it kind of balances things out. That's cool. Moving on to Axel. Axel's Grand Upper travels further.
Grand Upper is faster, travels a little bit farther, I believe, and it has more iframes.
What I gather is another buff he has is that he's able to walk a little bit faster. It's kind of good that they're giving Axel these subtle buffs into his character. So I agree with the buffs that they're giving him right now. Moving on. Mr. Y's grenade jump doesn't travel as far. Why? On stage 11. Why? Why did you give him that nerf? Why did you give him that? Why doesn't... you could body this guy, literally. When he jumps and he throws the grenades, you could either stand in between the grenades. From what I remember, you could pick up the grenades and toss it at him. And then to make it even worse, if you see him jump, you just walk to the other side. Because it's not like he's going to jump and then just jump into place. He's going to jump across the room. So as soon as you see him jump, you could probably, depending on how fast your character is, you can see him crouch and then he's about to jump. You can hit him, then you can run to the other side and meet him there and do whatever you want to him. So it's like, why would y'all give him that nerf? Why? That makes absolutely no sense. If that actually goes through, that makes no sense. He becomes a lot easier than what he is. He becomes one of the easiest characters in the game. The only thing that makes him hard is when his minions come. And I think minions only really come when it's multiplayer. So it becomes one of the easiest one-on-one fights. After, I think, him and the DJ are like the two easiest fights in the game, in my opinion. But yeah, rest in peace, man. He was already easy, but rest in peace again. So stage 12, last stage. Now players start with half their life instead of a third or a fourth of their life taken away from them. This to me is kind of questionable because think about it, it's the last stage of the game. So I feel like the difficulty should be ramped up. It should be the hardest level in the game, which I think it's that stage and White Tower are like neck and neck. But like you could get your life back pretty easy because get up and you see your life taken away from you. All you have to do is hit the enemies. Just don't do nothing crazy to where it makes it hard for you to get your life back. So I don't know, that's questionable to me. I'm not saying it should be gone, like that was a terrible thing to do. But to me it's kind of like, I don't know if that was really necessary to do at all. Because it's the last stage. So now, the bikes. From what I'm seeing on this patch, the bikes take 3 hits to destroy instead of 5. I don't understand why you do that. It's a bike, for goodness sake. It should take that many hits. I understand that you want to make it a little easier. Here's something I could here's something that I would like, I guess you guys could take in consideration to add instead of just completely making it easy to break the bikes. I think depending on the difficulty, you add extra hits to the bike. So the harder it is, so if it's Mania, the bikes are harder to break. They take 5 hits. If it's anywhere, if it's easy, 3 hits. Normal, 3 hits. Hard, 4 hits. Hardest, 4 hits. Mania, 5 hits. That's my opinion. But you know, it is what it is. Now, for the final enemy nerf that to me made no sense is my boy Shadow Murphy. His stars, they appear to be slower. Why did y'all nerf his stars? First off, weak. They don't have that much life. Their stars don't even take that much. And from what I gather, they don't really, like, from my experience in the game, I never even seen them do any other attack. I just saw them maybe put up their shield like once since the whole entire time of me going to that stage and playing this game. So it's like, why are you nerfing it? Why did you nerf it, make it slower? It literally takes like a little bit more than a pixel of your life. And there's ways of beating them. You could jump kick them. If you have an item, you can hit it, you could swing it or throw it at them. What else you could do? You could do your offensive specials to them. Another nerf that I noticed. My man Garcia. What did they do to my boy Garcia? Garcia has reduced range on his hitbox of his knife. Why did y'all get rid of that? There's no need to get rid of it. Taking away Garcia's knife shenanigans doesn't make Garcia Garcia. Like, he's one of the characters that give you nightmares. It's like as soon as you see Garcia on the stage, everybody's just like, yo, get the F out the way. Yo, we gotta handle Garcia. We gotta get Garcia out the way. So by you getting rid of that, it kind of makes him like a $5 character. He doesn't have nothing else. Look at it, man. Look at this nerf to him.
Garcia, hitbox on their knife has been greatly reduced. You can actually kind of contest it now.
You could literally just stare at him. Right here, he could be like right here to you, right here to you. And you could just knock him. There's ways around Garcia.
Too much to say about this part, but our aim here is to maintain possession of the spear on the ground, as well as the other two that come out later in the encounter. And they can come out from either side, it isn't predetermined. The only two attacks that really matter in this section are the spear attack, which will one-hit a Garcia, and the jump kick. This one is super important and the most effective way of disarming the spear-wielding Garcias, which should be your #1 priority. So again, maintain possession of the spears, and utilize the jump kicks to acquire said spears.
You use an offensive special, a defensive special. If you have an item, you can do an item to him. You can toss an item or hit him with the item. Or you can do a blitz attack to him. There's ways. You just can't you can't just try to run up on him. Like, think about it. He doesn't have nothing else going for him throughout all his games. I think just people are crying too much about the game, and it's influencing developers to change up making buffs more so on how people feel about the game's difficulties and not being able to get past certain enemies. So I think, like, in a sense, it's taken away from the nostalgic difficulty, not the nostalgic feel of the game, but the nostalgic difficulty of the game, by potentially putting those patches in the game. They're not 100%, but if they do, they could potentially take away the difficulty of the game. Because quite frankly, this game is not as hard as Streets of Rage 2 or 3. It's like in between or just before, right behind 3. So I just think that the developers, the beta testers, and the viewers should take this video and consider my thoughts on how I feel nerfs and things like that should be done, and how certain characters shouldn't be touched, or certain things should be, instead of nerfing a character this way, they should nerf the character that way, or they should half nerf a character, not give them a nerf to their life and then nerf to their staple moves on top of that. Like, that's, to me, that's not cool. Other than that, I just hope people just a little bit, have a little bit more open mind to when it comes to trying to get past certain things. I understand the era of gaming has changed. People like want instant gratification when it comes to beating levels and saying like, I beat this level, I beat that. But sometimes, like back in my days when I played games, we used to just grind for days, months. It took us months or so to beat a difficulty of the game. And sometimes, and that felt really good when you finally beat it. So I think people should have that mentality too. Even these new school gamers should have that. And I think it's kind of dead nowadays. And I think it should be brought back by keeping the difficulty of the game and keeping some of the characters, or rather some of the enemies, the way they are. But with that being said, I'm out of here, people. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And don't forget to hit that notification bell so you can be updated or notified whenever I stream or put up videos pertaining to Streets of Rage or any other retro game, fighting games, or me do other stuff in the future. Take care. Peace. Thanks for watching.